Hey guys, what's going on? It is Filmington, and I hope everybody's having a great time with their families, enjoying their extended holiday break, so on and so forth. This video is going to be a year in review, but not your typical review where I focus on specific cards I picked up. It's more about my experiences, my channel. Um, Started doing this just over a year ago, probably. I started going at it hard December of 2018, and it's really remarkable how much my channel and content has transformed in such short time. The motives for making content have changed too. Um, I did not expect to grow this fast, and part of this video, part of the reason behind it is I wanted to give a shout out and a thanks to everybody that's helped me along the way. So there are three different sections of this video. One where I talk about the people that have helped my channel grow, and one where I try to give back and make mention of some YouTubers maybe with smaller followings that I think deserve to get noticed. And I also wanted to thank a few YouTubers for really helping the community. And so all in all, it's going to be 30 different people, but I'll break it out into parts, make it more palatable. um, but yeah, again, starting out, while I acknowledge and fully understand that subs and views aren't the end-all be-all, for the most part, we're all operating in a niche community where subs, views, clicks, etc. are hard to come by, and none of us are going to get rich or famous off this unless you're already rich and famous like Phil Hughes. And maybe there is one other exception, but we'll disregard that for now. It was discouraging when I started, to say the least, when not a lot of people were noticing my content. Is it worth my time? But eventually, with the help of a lot of individuals, my channel grew, and it grew quite fast. I think I'd set what I thought was a pretty lofty goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2019. And as you can see, I more than doubled that. Part of the reason behind the rookie card explosion box, which I launched when I only had, I think, about 86 subscribers back in January, it was to differentiate myself from other channels. It was to gain some exposure, though. It wasn't really about the subscription product. That was more of a byproduct to get people to check out my content, check out my other videos. And little did I expect, but it actually became a quite prosperous business that has a following of its own. So I think that really helped me get to the 500 subscriber mark. Then I made some pretty decent show floor footage at the National, which got me to 1,000, and that was probably in late August. And then I started my speculation series where I talk about which players, from a prospecting perspective, not necessarily all prospects, but which players make decent flip candidates, talking about baseball players, of course. And that really blew the cover off things and got me to 2,000 in just a few months. So it's been a fantastic ride, but the thing that I don't want to skip over that's most important is the relationships that I've built, the people that I've met, the experiences that I've had. This far transcends any growth of my channel, money from monetization, which isn't much. And it far exceeded my expectations of what this channel would give me. When I started creating content, I was like, yeah, whatever, this will give me something to do in my spare time. These other guys do it, I'll do it. But maybe I underestimated how closely knit the community was, or would become, especially with this most recent National, all the people I've met. I remember booking my trip and thinking, okay, 2 days, that'll be enough because I don't really know anybody. Only one that I'll know is Brian Roth, great guy, but I just met him a few months earlier. I'm going to be, in my own room. So 2 days is probably even a stretch at that. But after leaving the National, I mean, my biggest regret, and I said this right afterwards, was I should have done at least 3 days. And everybody was so cool. Everybody was so chill at the National. It was great. But to start with some of these shout outs, I haven't done shout out videos in a while, mostly because I stopped doing video responses. And the reason for that, it's not completely selfish. It's because I fundamentally disagree with video contests, in that you're going to be attracting people to make a contest response video if usually they'll fall in one of these two categories. If they're friends with you and they feel bad, so they have to make a response, or they don't know of your channel, they just heard that you're doing a giveaway and they're there for the freebie. And those types of people aren't usually there to stick around. They might unsubscribe to you afterwards. People are either going to like your content or they're not. And getting gimmick type contests to help grow your channel, I've realized from my experience, isn't the best way to fuel subscriber growth. If anything, it's kind of a short-term tactical remedy, but it's all about the content, guys. Self-promotion helps as well. Cross social media platform promotion, of course, but I mean, just keep bringing the content, and it's more about quality than quantity. I think at this point I've made less than 140 videos and still been able to grow pretty quick. But I digress. A lot of people gave me shout outs when I started, and I've found that it's not just me that's boycotted video responses, but it's quite a bit of other people too, probably people that share similar sentiments to me. And in order to help people like me, aspiring content creators, grow, get noticed, we still need to make a concerted effort to give these channels recognition. If we're not doing contest responses or hosting them or partaking in other people's, then we have to be more creative in doing that. And so that's what I'm going to do here. And the first 12 people are people that I wanted to thank that have helped grow my channel. Now, towards the end of the video, I'll talk about some rising stars, if you will, some of the people that I think could potentially be the future generation of this platform. Some have more subscribers today than others, but all for the most part are less, have less recognition than myself. So first of all, the 12 people I wanted to thank for growing my channel are, starting with Jeff Airtime. It used to be Jeff Airtime Cards, now I think it's just Jeff Airtime. He gave me my first ever shout out. I don't know how he found me. I only had 2, maybe 4 subscribers at the time. And it was part of a contest response. And I later grew to really get to know Jeff. He's a big fantasy baseball stat geek like me. With me, it's not just about the baseball cards. I have passion for baseball as well. A huge passion, as many of you probably share. I'm not just a fan of the Red Sox. I'm a fan of all the teams, all the players. And Jeff and I really share that affinity for fantasy baseball. We've done quite a few collaborations, major league previews, fantasy baseball prospecting, stuff like that. And I've actually had a chance to talk to his wife, who's another great person as well. Number 2 would be Bowman 1951. First YouTuber I met in person, first collaboration video. It's great to finally, meet somebody off the platform. Sure, there's a level of intimacy that can be shared and ascertained just by watching people's videos, but it's not quite the same as an in-person bonding experience. We also have quite a bit in common, from what we do for work to some of our other extracurricular activities. We're both Yelp Elite. I actually think I lost my Yelp Elite status, but maybe I'll get that again next year. Great guy, and he's helped me out quite a bit. He's definitely a guy you want having your back. Social media battles and protecting reputational stuff. He's really helped me out quite a bit. So thank you, Jeff, for that. Next up would be Bob Lewis and Hitman 23. Bob, really great guy, super genuine. It's really tough to think of a bad thing to say about him. Bob was very instrumental, as was Hitman 23 Mike, in giving me shout outs early on, multiple shout outs. I've had a chance to meet Bob at the National, actually, and shared a quite precious experience with him that I'll probably never forget. He can tell you about that. Next up, Snoop12922, Xavier. He likes to be called Snoop too. I remember, I think it was my first phone call that I had with another YouTuber. It was like at least 2 hours long, and I don't even know what we talked about, but super nice guy. He does a lot for the community as well. He gave me a bunch of praise during the whole national period and really helped my channel grow. Real nice guy. Real nice guy. Next up, Scotty Tradition, another guy that gave me shout outs early on. Scott is a guy that we might have slightly diverse collecting interests, especially since I started to deviate away from vintage collecting. But we definitely have a lot in common off the platform. Just a real genuine guy, family guy, and he's an intelligent guy too. So he gets the nuances that some people might not understand. Just a real solid individual. So thank you, Scott. Next up is going to be Silver Jackify, Joe. So in addition to giving me quite a bit of shout outs early on, which was huge coming from such a big channel, he was also the key to successfully launching the Rookie Card Explosion box. I sent him a promotional one, and he did a great video, got about 10,000 views, and me only having 86 subscribers, it was that was really the catalyst for the repack product to become an ongoing subscription offering. Solid guy too. I met him at the National, real cool, exactly how you'd expect him to be, and just super positive, funny. He's got a lot of zeal, charisma. He's an awesome guy. So thanks, Joe, for helping me, my channel, and the Rookie Card Explosion box. And you're now a very loyal supporter of it as well. Next up is, speaking of the Rookie Card Explosion box, the Rookie Monster, Mez. He has been the biggest promoter and arguably the most loyal supporter of the Rookie Card Explosion box from the start. Super great guy. Had a chance to have many text message conversations with him. Very funny, very witty. Just an all-around great dude. That's going to be just a trend, and it seems cliche for me to be bringing this up across many of these individuals, but they're just awesome individuals. You're not always going to find that trend outside of YouTube in the hobby. There's going to be a lot of jealous people, a lot of shisty people, dishonest people, but these guys definitely buck the trend. Next up is Lone Star Legends. He has given me so many shout outs on his channel, trying to get people's attention. He claims that he saw something in me, my voice. He saw that I was a cool dude and he wanted to give me a shout out, but I mean, I don't think I deserved all those shout outs. And with the Rookie Card Explosion box, he's been a big fan of that as well and helped me quite a bit there. But just a super nice guy, a big family guy. And I think he's taken a little bit of a hiatus from making videos, but he'll be back. He's a huge fan of ripping, and he's a cool dude. Next up is Zombie Collector. He's probably one of the few people that started watching my channel from the beginning. So most people, you see somebody's channel you like, you subscribe to them, you don't actually go backwards and watch all of their videos from the beginning. Especially when there's usually a bit of a adjustment period where the videos created at the beginning maybe aren't edited as well or prepared or delivered as well. But he went through the beginning. He left me comments on videos probably 1 through 15. And you could tell that he actually watched them from beginning to end. So very genuine guy, wears his heart in his sleeve, and he's not afraid to speak his mind. He's had quite a few opinionated dialogues, but monologues, but a lot of those opinions have grounded me, have given me a different perspective. Some I've agreed with, some I haven't. But thank you, Jason, for offering your opinions and for being such a loyal supporter of my channel. Next up is Pepino Man, Caesar. I've had the luxury or privilege of being able to do a lot of collaborations with Caesar. Some have had a serious tone, some have not. Great guy though, super genuine, trustworthy. I mean, aside from all the funny antics, I mean, he's a real good dude. Next up, Joe iPhone Services. He's taken a little bit of a hiatus from YouTube as well, but he's definitely helped me a lot with my channel. He's helped broker some business relationships, if you will. He's got an entrepreneurial mind, and he's always been looking out for everybody else. There's no ill will, there's no jealousy. He wants everybody to grow. He wants everybody to be happy. He wants everybody to get along. He doesn't like the drama. And just a solid guy. Don't know how old he is, much about him, what he looks like. Does a lot of ASMR stuff, or he did. But you know what? You're all right, Joe. You're all right. Next, I am going to thank 8 different individuals for what they've done with the community. I think they've made very significant contributions over the last year or years. First 2 people, these are 2 fellows that I think serve as great ambassadors of the community. They also have channels that serve as models for what card creating channels should be like, I think. And that is Mike O and Baseball Collector Mike. So thanks to the 2 of you. Next up, Elite Co 3, strong, silent type. He's been around for quite some time, and I think that he represents the highest of ethical standards with his business dealings that he does on eBay and off the platform through his other distribution channels. And I've actually modeled my channel off his quite a bit. I've used some of his ideas, the PSA reveals, etc. for my content strategy, if you will. Next up, I talked about how Bob Lewis is probably the nicest guy I've ever met, but these guys are right up there. Up North Collectors, Mike and son Luke, father-son duo. They've shown that a significant amount of channel growth within a short time period is possible in this niche of a YouTube community that we live in. Just great individuals, do a lot of great job, do some great work with their breaking. Next up is Eric, Those Back Pages. He's taught us so much. He's taught me personally so much. And I look forward to continuing to learn from him. Another guy like Alico3 that's been around for quite some time, and he's not going away anytime soon. Next up, B Roth 6, Brian. He's probably the youngest guy on the list, and he's probably been to more nationals than everybody aside from somebody I mentioned next, and or Lico 3. And just the most reliable guy. Only guy I had met when I went to the National. I was able to meet him at my Shriner show earlier this year. Real solid individual, great listener, probably has the strongest sense of emotional intelligence, that EQ of everybody that I mentioned in this entire video. Next up, Blue Jacket 66, Dave. Quite an abrasive personality, but he's got some decent vintage stuff. Just kidding, he's a good guy. Next up, and last, Stove Sports Mark. He's got a sense of humor that isn't really dime a dozen. He injects a certain amount of creativity into this community that we don't really get from anywhere else. And beyond that, a great guy, a funny guy, but he's actually pretty down to earth. He's always trying to come up with different styles of videos. And lastly, we're going to talk about some rising stars in the community. These are channels that maybe you've heard of, maybe you haven't. The common theme is that they have less recognition than what they deserve. First channel, Stealing Second. This is Sean. He's at about 200 subscribers right now. That should be a felony in about 53 states. He creates some good content. I compare him to myself. He's a more advanced version of myself from a year ago. He could be one of the kings of the future generation of YouTubers, and check him out. Next up, Modern Vintage Collector. This is Chris. He's at about 281 subscribers. He's an intellectual fella. He creates some thought-provoking videos. He focuses a lot on history, and you don't get content like his anywhere else. Next up, my buddy, Triple Crown 24, JT, 652 subscribers. He's been around the hobby for quite some time. Given his age, it's incredible how much experience he has. He's a Miguel Cabrera super collector. He's really started to branch out and use that sharp brain of his. He's a smart guy in diversifying his content. Started an interview series recently where he focuses on super collectors of other players. And he recently started selling, so he's been talking about the selling aspect quite a bit. And yeah, check out JT. Next up, Amyo Tenny, 647 subscribers. Amyo is his name. And real warm-hearted guy, almost like a teddy bear. He's always happy to see other people happy. He's always trying to spread positivity. Does a lot of community-oriented videos, mail days, care packages, stuff like that. Check him out. Next up, Village Breaks. People call him Coach. 268 subscribers. He's created quite a bit of content where 268 is just too little, guys. He's a great guy. He likes to do break videos. Check him out. Awesome individual. Next up, Marky Michaels. His name's Mike. It's confusing, I know. 168 subscribers. He's been around for a bit long too, given where he sits subscriber-wise. Awesome guy. Does a lot of videos, kind of like Mike O, where he does PSA reveals, prep videos, does some breaks. He's a big fan of retail, hanger packs. I know that's his specialty. Next up, Card Tech 710, Dane. He's got a few more subscribers, but awesome guy. High-end modern baseball collector, right up my alley. Does a lot of PSA breaks. He recently started doing group submissions with some other YouTubers. Next up, this guy's pretty new, Sean T. Ford. 230 subscribers. His name's Sean, of course, and he's a big fan of subscription products. Mine and others as well. Check him out. He does breaks as well, and he's got a personality that kind of bodes well with mine. Maybe we're both the same, I don't know, Myers-Briggs score. I think I'm like ESTJ or something like that. So check him out. Next up, Great Lakes Breaks. This is Jake and his brother. Just hit 1,000 subscribers. He's a super positive individual. He's always putting out content. He's always putting out quality content. And like Amyo and Coach and others on this list, super positive individual. I just can't get enough of it. Super optimistic. I wish I was born more like that. And I apologize for anybody else I didn't bring up. And everybody's been great. If I didn't bring up your name, I was thinking about you. So Take good care of yourself, guys. Filmington out. 2020 is going to be epic. Collect baseball cards forever, I say.
What is up, man? Going to the National?